Hello, hello. So today is Sunday, the 15th of June, 2025. And just as I say that, things are kicking off. Oh, shut up, guys. Crying out loud. It's like freaking little babies. Okay, goodbye. I think I think even if Ubisoft tried to make the civilians more annoying, they couldn't have made them any more annoying than they are. It's ridiculous. Same repetitive speeches all over again. Same thing. Um, it's just insane. I think I might have to disable the playing on. Let me just double check it. Go into options, world parameters. Yeah, we've got it on resistance. Outcast rebels presence on Aurora. Resistance missions available. Locks Azrael patrols frequency to none, making the missions Icarus Blues unavailable. So I've got it on resistance. So this is why I've got all these freaking idiots ruining my missions half the time. Um, Operation Amber Sky. Um, Operation Amber Sky would be fantastic to use, but since gas canisters and gas leakages everywhere, it's poisonous, obviously. So it kind of ruins Aurora, and it still lingers around in certain areas, even though it's meant to be clear, because you do the missions until the end, until you liberate the you finish the objective and you liberate the obviously the residents from getting toxic fumes. It still lingers around certain areas. I might have to go back to Operation Amber Sky and just retake a look at what's actually going on. I know the missions are unavailable. Certain missions are unavailable, especially if we have Operation Amber Sky on. It's classic. Um, Obviously, I played through classic, obviously like on the classic mode, which is there's no resistance and there's no obviously Operation Amber Sky. There's no. It's really really basic. So you just have the patrols um, walking around in like odd locations, maybe like middle of the forest. You have some two guys standing, peeing, smoking, whatever, um, grinding up a tree. I don't know what they're doing. So you might have two guy patrol, and they kind of as well. Um, to me, to me, that kind of whole thing gets ruined because if Sentinel, Sentinel Core, if they're if they're basically operational in the bases, let them stay in the bases. Don't put them out in the middle of nowhere. It just makes no sense to have just like two guys just standing in the middle of the forest with nature and wildlife. Just at least if they're doing something while being in the forest, but usually they're just standing there. So if you're having taken a shortcut through like a wooded area to get to another location, you'll bump into them, which kind of sometimes triggers like a whole slopey range. Basically, they spot you, and then a helicopter goes past, and they notice you killing the soldiers underneath, and then he all goes goes Ori. Maybe that's the whole point, but I don't know. Don't see it as that. So anyway, I've got in Resistance, Operation Amber Sky. the reason I'm in here. So let me start again. Today's Sunday, the 15th of June, 2025. This is what daylight looks like on these new settings I have for like a darker nights. So when you're doing operations in the night, which gives you a huge advantage in that the AI does not respond as well, which is kind of what you want. They have difficulty obviously seeing you in the darkness. If I go to the base now, they'll have no problem seeing me. But, and this is a big but, obviously when you're doing night missions, you're meant to be using the advantage of having night vision goggles or... Oh no. Oh my god. There's usually, there's usually a helicopter gets involved. The frequency of that is really, really high, especially when you're playing on non-resistance or the basic one, the classic. So Azure patrols are not available when you have resistance on. That was one of my primary goals, was to, because I hated the Azraels, just flying over ever so often when you're just about to approach a base. There's a stupid Azrael, flies over, takes away from what you're supposed to be doing. So you have to go in the shrubbery and try to hide and whatnot. It was, after like 100 hours of doing that, it gets repetitive and so freaking boring. And that's the reason I kind of wanted something to switch them off. Just bear with me. So we are by the Scale Security Assembly Hall, and I'm just going to go through the settings. So this is what daylight looks like on these settings. So daylight is quite bright, as it should be. Quite bright, it's easy to see the targets, the enemy, the roads, the hills look pretty good. Not too washed out and not too dark. They actually look more brighter than normal, I think. They look more brighter. I think with the basic, like, I think it's usually 50-50-50 across on your settings. That's for like hue and contrast. I think it's like 50-50 and then 50. I can't remember what the other one is. There's another one. I think it's hue, contrast, and gamma. So that's like 50-50-50 across. So I meddle around with the settings just to take a quick look what it is. Let's go. So go into options. We'll go into settings. Then we'll go into, I think it's graphics, video, image calibration. So these are the settings. If you want to copy these, that's not a problem. Hopefully you enjoy. So this is kind of what I was aiming for, is trying to make that logo disappear to where it's barely visible. I can just barely see this on my TV. Barely. Absolutely barely. So it's just like a skull barely on here. I don't know if you can see this in the video, but it's really, it's bare minimum on my screen. It says here, adjust the settings until the symbol regarding this one is barely visible. So this is really barely visible. So I have brightness set at 56, 56. So usually this is 50, 50, 50. So this is 56 brightness. Contrast is 87. You can adjust these to whatever you want. If you find mine is too dark, just adjust these, but go little amounts Because if you go 5 or 6, even 10 down or up from here, it makes massive difference, especially gamma, right? So brightness is 56, contrast 87, gamma 85. So those are the settings. So I like messed around with these, so the daylight looks good and the nighttime looks good. So what we'll do now is we'll launch a bivvy. What's the closest one here? It's Raincliff Falls. So we'll go to Raincliff Falls and we'll make it dark. We'll just take a quick look. I think if you've seen my previous videos, you'll see what the darkness look like. But if this is the first time, we'll go through this. The outfit he's wearing is the outfit Modern Ninja. Which break camp. We'll go at 12 o'clock at night. Oh, is it 12? It's 1 o'clock in the morning. So this is what it looks like. So as I say, I wanted to make this darker because usual case, this is too bright for me. Makes using any of these special settings, obviously for night vision or thermal goggles or anything like that, makes it completely avoidable. You just don't have to use it. But by making it dark like this, you have to rely on using your night vision, relying on your IRL laser to be lit up to where you can aim at a target. This is just a PEC 15 on my rifle. No, it's not a PEC 15. It's a triple. It's a triple. Hang on, let me check it. See what it is. Digital sight at pile, triple light pile. So triple laser. So you actually, if you zoom in close, you'll see there's 3 lasers beaming out from this, which is right down the rail. So there is 3 lasers on there beaming out. So we can only see 2, but there is 3, yeah. So you can see 3, there's 3 little lines. It's strength of 3 lasers beaming out. So this is what the nighttime looks like without the night vision goggles. Since the moon is kind of permanent in that it's almost always full moon. That's quite nice with the star and the moon. The moon is like almost permanent, as it's gonna be always full moon. You can't avoid that. It seems to be always there, present. It's rare that it's never there. Sometimes in the skies, in the different areas, I might not see the moon, but when it does show up like this, it makes the ground a little bit more visible in front of you. And anything behind you is super dark. But that's like, I was trying to go for realism. This is what it's like if you're out in the woods, or if you're out away from a glaring lights of a city center or a city, and you're going into into the back of somewhere, wooded areas further away from a location, from a town. This is what it kind of looks like, especially when the full moon is beaming down. It gives you that ambient light on the ground floor, on the land that you can use to navigate or see. Because your eyes take about 3 to 4 minutes to adjust. Once they go from a bright setting to like a darkness, it takes about 3 to 4 minutes. You don't have to eat carrots. Your eyes will adjust, and you can see pretty clear when there's a full moon on. It's how most animal species hunt at night as well, using the full moon. So this is the assembly hall Omega. think it's assembly hall. Oh, sorry, no. Scale security assembly hall. I've gave you the wrong name. Let's go back into settings. Video, right? Image calibration. So I've got this on performance. Mine's on performance. Because there is some issues with the PlayStation, especially if it's drawing too many things at once. There might be like little hiccups, and those are kind of really annoying, even though it's PlayStation 5. And this is a PlayStation 4 game, really, that I'm playing on PlayStation 5, but it still looks amazing. There might be some hiccups, especially when it's putting a lot of AI in like forests or whatever, in bases, vehicles on the roads. Sometimes you might get little hiccups as you're running across. There'll be like a little pause, and a little pause, and a little pause. But those are like really frequent when you have it on anything other than performance. So you got resolution. Resolution makes it I think that's kind of wrong. I think performance is better to me than resolution. Obviously 4K and the graphics options a bit reduced, but I don't think a resolution kind of makes everything a little bit better. But it seems to be jerky, so it's like when you're walking through like really popular areas, it'll be like almost not constantly, but it's like you'll notice it more frequently. There's a little load up and a little hiccup and a little hiccup and a little load up, and especially when you approach a base, there's like a little pause and a little pause, and then suddenly there's like things being built up in front of you. So there's like a sign suddenly pops up out of nowhere. Ghost Recon is pretty good. Breakpoint is pretty good at not having all that, but sometimes it does happen, and I kind of noticed. Remember noticing it, and I said, "Oh my god, this is super stupid." Anyway, let's go back in the options and take a look again. Image calibration. So we got brightness 56, contrast 87, gamma 85. So these are my settings on here. You can copy these, you can readjust them, you can take the contrast down if you wish, you can take the gamma up if you wish. As I say, the basic default numberings for these are 50, 50, and 50, I believe. So they're all 50 across board. But all 50 makes it too bright. So at nighttime, everything's too freaking bright. So it's like there's no difference between. Sometimes there's no difference between day and night. Anyway, that's just for now. I'm trying to make some more videos soon. Thanks, guys. Peace.